Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for the final video and the final episode of my turn. To end this series, I'm going to answer two questions that a lot of people would like to know. Does everyone have some sort of OCD? And if someone is struggling with these symptoms, what can they do to seek help for that? So throughout this series, I've provided you information about OCD, what it is, how it's caused, the symptoms of it, and more information about it based off of my personal experience with it. So to recap a little bit on that, to sort of give you a refresher on OCD before we get into the answering those questions, we know that OCD is a vicious cycle of anxiety, guilt, shame, disgust that are caused by parts of the brain that are not in sync with each other. Now, the cycle involves having obsessions, right, which are mental images, thoughts, impulses, urges, sometimes memories that are very uncomfortable for the sufferer to experience, which are then followed by compulsions, which are repetitive physical or mental behaviors that are intended to relieve those uncomfortable feelings for the sufferer, but it only being a temporary relief. We also know that OCD is genetic, and only 1 in 100 adults have it. So, a little refresher. Hopefully you were able to watch the videos earlier that can give you a better understanding to see if you can answer this question right now. So let's see if you're ready. Now, does everyone have some sort of OCD? The answer is no. Not everyone has OCD, not even the littlest bit of OCD. Now, the reason why is because OCD is a permanent mental disorder that causes a severe amount of emotional distress for the sufferer due to them having a different brain structure than someone that may have habits of OCD. So, in other words, what I can do to explain things better, and I have examples written down, a person without OCD or without a diagnosis of OCD can be meticulous and very organized, but they are not that way because their brain is forcing them to do it because they fear that something bad will happen. So it's very normal to be organized at work, at home, to have things lined up a certain way, have your shoe boxes lined up in your closet in a nice manner, but you're not doing that because you're afraid that something bad will happen. You are not being forced to engage in a behavior that you are uncomfortable with. A person may be very hygienic or clean. They may want to clean their house daily or weekly. They may even wash their hands often, especially during the pandemic. But those habits sometimes aren't anxiety-fueled obsessions, which are then driving them to engage in repetitive compulsions because they feel that there are consequences if they're not clean. So anyone can want to clean their house daily or weekly, like I said. Someone may even like to wash their hands before every meal. But you're not doing that with the fear that if you do not wash your hands, you're going to pass away. You're going to get deathly ill and you will die from that. So it's okay to be hygienic. It's okay to be clean. It's okay to wash your hands a lot. But you're not being driven by anxiety to do that. It's just a good habit that you have. A person can be worried about anything, but it is not OCD unless they're having obsessions that then come with compulsions, and those two things interfere with their life so much that it takes time away from other important activities in their life, such as going to work, going to school, hanging out with family and friends, or even going to the store, for example. OCD is on the anxiety spectrum on mental disorders. What separates it from other anxiety disorders is the fact that it comes with obsessions, then it comes with compulsions, because of a different brain structure than other people that do not have either mental issues or other mental disorders. So it's an endless cycle. That is what separates OCD from someone that does not have OCD. So to summarize all of that, like what I'm saying in a couple sentences, only 1% of the entire population have OCD and everyone else does not. Having habits of OCD does not mean that you have a mental disease. That's a good thing, trust me. You don't want this. You will find yourself in a lot of pain every day and you feel isolated from the world if you have OCD. So let's just say this. Let's just say for those that say everyone has some OCD, or sorry, my OCD is coming out right now. Let's just say it's just an expression. You literally do not have OCD. Let's just say you like to use it as a way of explaining to others that you're very organized and you're very clean, you're very meticulous, but you do not have even the littlest bit of OCD because it's genetic. Only 1% of the population have it, and it's a mental disorder. It's a permanent mental disorder. So it's a good thing that you don't have it. So with that being said, if someone were to suffer from these symptoms, or if they believe that they have OCD, how can they seek help? What can they do to help themselves in that battle? So what I would encourage the person to do, if you're suffering from these symptoms, or if you feel you may have OCD, I would strongly encourage you to seek out a therapist trained in OCD, share with them what you're struggling with, what you go through, and have them confirm or deny your diagnosis. That's the best way to do it because, like I said, OCD is permanent. It's not going to go away. Seeking out a counselor, seeking out a therapist can really help you in that battle. It'll make you feel not alone, and it'll give you strength to help with those moments of those flare-ups. It really helps. I would strongly encourage you to do that if you feel you may have OCD. Now, even for those struggling with anxiety, PTSD, past trauma, bipolar disorder, and other mental diseases, I still would encourage you to seek out a therapist because it's not easy fighting that battle alone, right? Even if you have no mental issues and you just like to vent, or if you just want to grow in life, I still would encourage you to seek out a therapist. Therapy is not only for people with mental issues. You are not crazy just because you go see a counselor. We all struggle with something in our lives, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There is nothing wrong with seeing a counselor. There is no need to feel embarrassed or to feel ashamed of seeking help. I would strongly encourage everyone watching this, if you're interested, seek out a therapy. Seek out a therapist. I ruined that moment. Seek out a therapist. I would encourage everyone to do it. With that being said, that is the answer to our two questions. Does everyone have some sort of OCD? They do not. How does someone seek out help if they're suffering from these symptoms? Seek out a counselor. I would like to thank everyone that has watched these videos, or even one of them. I want to thank you for wanting to listen. You have taken the time and you actually wanted to listen to what I had to say. I want to thank you for sharing this with others that you felt might needed to hear this. I want to thank you for supporting me and others with OCD. More importantly, I want to thank you for growing with me. You know, after I posted the first video, I was done after that. And a couple people know this story, but after I posted the first video, I went on a walk with my cousin, and she said, so how do you feel after posting it? I said, yeah, I'm good. Good. It's a lot better reactions than what I thought. And she said, that's good. What's your next video going to be? And I was like, huh? And she said, yeah, what's your next video going to be? And I was like, no, I'm done. That's it. And she said, no, you need to post more. And I was like, why? She goes, people need to know about OCD. I said, oh, okay, well, what do I talk about? What do I say? And she goes, what do you know about it? And I was like, ask me a question. And she goes, how many people have it? I said, 1 in 100, 1%. And she goes, how is OCD caused? I was like, it's genetic and a stressful event triggers it. And she goes, there you go. Those are examples. If it wasn't for that talk, these videos would not have happened. This information would not have been out there. Maybe that moment triggered the fact that people are actually interested in OCD. And maybe that moment right there was the event that led me to help out someone with OCD that is watching this. Because I would have loved to hear this. I would have loved to watch someone talk about OCD in the moments that I was feeling alone. Maybe someone that I knew. That would have made it more personal. So I want to thank everyone that has taken the time to support me, encourage me, provide kindness with their words, and have actually wanted to know about OCD and my experience with it. In this final episode, I want to say thank you. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll make more of these videos. But as of right now, I feel at peace ending it right here. So, my name is Kenny Brown. I was diagnosed with OCD at age 27, and this has been my journey of learning to accept it. Thank you for joining me.